Hello everybody, it's Steve from Corporate Gone Country. I'm just an ex-corporate guy trying to do country things. And today the country things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be using some old scrap material to build an archery blind for hog hunting and deer hunting here in Southwest Texas. So here's another look at the pile of materials that we're going to be working with. And there's corrugated metal right there. Looks like we got about 6 or 7 sheets of that. We've got some 2x6s here that some of them are going to be about 10 feet long. So we found a number of boards that are suitable for the bottom frame and for the columns of the archery blind. So we're off to a good start here. We're not completely using repurposed materials. We did buy this 3/4 inch piece of plywood from the lumber yard. So we have our base all laid out, and we pre-installed the joist hangers and those corner supports right there. So all we have to do is screw it together and put the plywood top. It's difficult working with lumber that's twisted and curved, but we got it as square as we can. Okay, so we laid the frame down on the plywood, fits really well, and we'll just mark a line right there and cut the plywood off to length. So we got the platform fabricated, and just testing it out here, if I'm drawing my archery equipment, my back elbow is not going to be back up against the wall, and my arrow is not going to be sticking out of the front of the blind. So the whole idea of this blind is that we're going to put it in a location and during hunting season where the sun really stays behind it all day long. Yeah, it gets on the sides at early morning and at dusk, but I have corrugated metal up against the side so the sun can't shine in. And if I go ahead and paint the whole inside black and wear black clothing, with the sun being behind me, basically the animals, if they look that way, will be looking into a black hole. So we prefabricated these columns such that the base will rest on that ledge right there, and then we'll put a rafter up and it'll rest on the ledge right on top of that. Okay, so there's our base, and then there's the rafters that we'll put over the columns when we erect them. So we really won't have to put too much together in the field except these big pieces. So we have this tin left over from an old well house, and we're going to use that on top of that frame there for the roof. We had to come inside the shed because it was raining, but we got the roof module ready to go. Well, the rain has subsided, so I believe that we can go out in the field and try to put this bow blind up. We have our 3 main components ready. We've prefabricated the base. We've prefabricated some columns. So all we have to do is attach those to the base, and then we have to slide the roof over the top, and we've prefabricated that as well. So we got all the components on the back of the Polaris, and we're taking them out to the site where we're going to put them up. So this is a little corner of this feeder area where I want to put this bow stand. It's got a tree over here on this side, tree over here on that side, one behind it. So it's kind of a good little nook to put this thing in, and the animals will walk there and walk there. I'll show you. So that feeder is about a 20-yard shot from where I was showing you that the blind will go, and that's about as long a shot as I want to take. I'll take up to 25 yards, but really no further than that. So this is just a closer look at the surrounding area. You can see a game trail right there. There's another one going out that way. It's a little bit harder to see. And that's the little nook where our bow blind will be. Okay, the way we started erecting this thing was we put this leg and one on the opposite side on first, And you can see that it's resting on the top of another board that we tacked into it. And then while one of us held up the back end there, the other one came up here and tied this first column in. And it's kind of the same way as those intermediate supports are. You can see that the base is going to rest on that board there. We got to do a little excavation here so we can get all the posts, the columns and supports firmly situated on the ground. So from front to back, we're a pretty good level. And same from side to side. Okay, two of us managed to hoist that roof module up in the air, and we set it down on those stops right there. And then here in the front, we elevated it about an inch so it would slope to the back of the blind. So here's the back. And this is just a temporary piece of wood that we put in to be able to set the roof module on so we could erect it easier. We did that on this side as well. And then we went ahead and cut off the tops of those columns just to make them look nicer. Between the warped wood and a little bit of weather that came through today, we didn't make as much progress as we wanted to. So we're going to have to pick it up later. I'll put some corrugated metal over the floor here, just put some rocks on top of it to keep the weather off it. And then we'll come back, we'll put some cross bracing in, some diagonals to keep it from shaking back and forth. And we'll also put some corrugated metal around the sides and paint the inside. So we still got a lot of work to do. Hello everyone, we're back at the bow blind. It's about 6 weeks since we left it, so it's been just sitting here in this condition. It's early April, and it's about 50 degrees hotter than when we left this thing the last time. Today what we want to do is put some cross bracing up here to stiffen it and also try to get this aluminum siding up. So we're cutting these pieces of corrugated metal to length. I'm just using a cutoff disc on a grinder. Okay, we're just going to be putting these pieces of corrugated metal up the side of the bow blind. We're not so much concerned with weather protection as we are concerned with keeping as much light out as possible. We have the sides up on both sides, and that went pretty well. We use these rubber grommeted screws that are designed to go through metal and then finally into wood. This corrugated metal provides some sway protection. I can't move this front to back, but I can move it from side to side. So maybe when we get the back corrugated metal on, that'll provide some sway protection as well. So we have some cross bracing down below, and we have all the corrugated metal up. Now we're going to go in and create the black hole by spray painting the inside black. My able assistant is starting the spray painting process. We are at the feeder looking at the archery blind after we painted the entire interior black. And we've got bright sunlight today. I think this will create good concealment for archery if you're wearing black clothing. Certainly it will in the morning and the evening when the sun is lower. Still have a few tweaks to make. Put some steps on it for sure. And then maybe a piece of sheet metal across the front at the top and some fabric across the bottom where people can walk in and out and will conceal your legs. But I'm very happy with the way this turned out.